So, very good evening to everyone. It's obviously Raj, host of Woman Agenda. We have a special guest, as you would see, I've been mentioning Rochelle Sellick, who is our partner, founder of Scarlet River PR, and our partner on the Woman Agenda, where we bring you amazing country music female artist talent. And Scarlet River uh, PR is a company which was founded by Rochelle, and she's doing an amazing job. And on the so first of all, Rochelle, how you do? How are you today?
I'm good, thank you very much. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you. Uh, it's great to have you on. We've had some amazing talent on recently, and obviously with yourself, it's been a great partnership. Uh, le- I've been obviously we've been checking and the stuff on the website. You formed this. It's not been too long ago when it was
Hmm.
formed. So how did this idea come about?
You know what? It feels like I've been doing this for years and years. um, but gosh, in 2017, I went to Country to Country, which is a festival in London at the O2 Arena. And I've always loved music, but never really saw myself as part of the music industry. It was just something that I used as kind of an outlet to listen to things. There's a song for every occasion, is what people always say. And I was kind of one of those sorts of people. And then when I went to Country, I just happened to bump into a few people and become friends with people who were artists, and they wanted to release music in the country music scene in the UK. And I was like, oh, well, I know that there's a country music scene in the US, but I don't really think that there was one in the UK specifically. So
Hmm,
kind of after that happened, I ended up kind of doing lots of research into, what are there artists that are from the UK that perform music? What do they do? Where can they perform this sort of thing? And I ended up working with a couple of people as like an independent manager. And it was
right,
essentially just because I was still at university, and they were my friends, and I was like, oh, I can give you a hand, and that was kind of like my introduction to the music scene. And over about a year period, a couple of the artists I was working with ended up touring in the US and getting um, nominated for lots of UK and British country music awards and things like that. And I think then by the end of 2019, I suppose, I was kind of like, oh, I quite like doing this, and I think I'll kind of progress and make a company so that I can work with lots of other artists rather than just as an independent person, as an independent manager. So actually created
right,
Scarlet River Management first. But when it got to kind of lockdown back in 2020, which also seems like years and years ago, I decided that I kind of was speaking to a lot of artists who were telling me about how they'd recorded music, but they didn't know how to release it during a pandemic, because obviously it was such an alien experience for us all. Nobody really
yeah,
knew what we were doing. Everything was online. And artists kind of had this thing about, saying, oh, we have to go out and gig. And if we don't gig, we can't sell merch, we can't get our music out. And so everyone had kind of had to adjust their mindset to how can we do it online. And I loved that challenge. And I was kind of sat at home talking to these artists. And I thought, well, maybe I can just help them to release their music, so that they still can, but by all of this online media promotion. And so I ended up doing that for a couple of people just because I wanted to, and I wanted to try it out. And then I realized I actually loved that way more than being a manager, and I wanted to continue. And so I think it was the beginning of 2021, maybe in 2022 actually, that I officially changed Scarlet River Management, Scarlet River PR. And that's kind of what I'm setting up and what I'm doing now.
wow. Yeah, I mean, it's been an incredible journey, hasn't it? Really? It's been great. Just to quickly mention as well, I know I usually schedule the interviews. I haven't scheduled this because I know Rishal is really busy, so I thought we I wasn't sure, 100% sure if it was going to happen due to a busy schedule. So some people may not be aware this is happening. So I do apologize in advance. I do usually tell people before. So yeah, we'll put this up as well. This is the
Oh, thank
official
you.
website of Scarlet River PR, which tells you everything about how it was formed, about who you're working with, and and this is something which when we were chatting with Olivia a few
Yeah.
couple of weeks ago, she was mentioning that as well, that it started to happen in the UK, where the country music scene is
Mm,
started to kick on now.
yeah.
So and I was shocked when she said that, because I was like, nobody would imagine maybe a few years back country music in the
Yeah.
UK would start to, there would be that happening, where people would be interested to, start singing country music rather than the other genres.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting one. And I think one of the great things is that there's a lot of crossover nowadays with genres, isn't there? You're not just one genre, so you're not just pop. You might be influenced by a bit of hip hop and rock or R&B as well. And so I think because some of these big artists are doing that, and collaborating with mainstream pop rock artists that the UK would know quite well, I think that's kind of opened doors a little bit more, to people understanding that, as much as we love traditional country music, the Johnny Cashes, the Dolly Partons, I love that music, and a lot of people will
Yeah,
associate country music with that style. Actually, there's an awful lot more to kind of explore now. And so I think some people might even realize that they are actually have country music influence without knowing, without intentionally doing it. It's just because the sound is so crossover nowadays.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. It definitely is, and so was there any, because you've said obviously it was going to be what your main goal was, what was country music in, obviously, so the ones who you're working with are ones from the US and the UK.
Yeah, so I started working with independent artists from the UK.
Yeah.
And then I started working with a couple of US clients who were looking to tour in the UK. And so I kind of thought, well, that's a good avenue. I'm very capable of providing a UK fan base to those like US artists. And then at the end of last year, I went to Nashville for 2 months and did a lot of networking out there. And now I work with artists from anywhere, really. I mean, I had an email from a band in New Zealand the other day.
Wow.
So hopefully, I would love to meet them, and hopefully, I might have my first kind of client from that way. So really, it's just, and one of the great things really that's come out of the pandemic is the opportunity to work with people from all over the world. And I love that. And so, especially with PR, you can kind of do that online as well. So I guess that's an added bonus. So I will happily work with anyone as long as kind of I love the music and they're invested in the process. Then I'm there.
Yeah, and you work with lots of a lot of artists which a few we have chatted to, and they are very very talented, and they gain pretty good views on YouTube and
Good.
stuff, and so some have already been the singles have done really well as well when they've released the music. So you could say that tomorrow they could be the next one breaking into country music in a big way.
You
You
never
know.
know, do you? That's the thing. Like, you never know when
Yeah,
something's going to happen. So,
yeah. When Olivia told me how old she was, I was
yeah.
like, to be honest, I can't even remember what I planned to do at that age. You know
I
what I
know.
mean?
It's mad, isn't it? It's
Mad.
amazing. One
It's
thing I love
crazy.
about Olivia is her like drive and her motivation, and that's one thing that's going to get her so far. But like you say,
Yeah,
I was the same when I was 17, 18. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I knew what I didn't want to do, but I didn't know what I did want to do.
yeah, definitely, definitely. I don't think many people would have much of an idea, to be honest. And
Mm,
obviously, she wants to get into country music,
yeah.
and yeah, and people. slowly in the UK, I think with help from yourself, especially they're defining the market, and obviously they're defining a foothold
Yeah.
in the industry, which is which is very. I think country music is becoming a bit competitive as well now, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
with
It is. It's interesting, like, 5 years ago, there were maybe two or three music festivals in the UK that were specific for country music and Americana. There was obviously
yeah,
country, the big one. And now every year there's a new one, which is amazing for the scene. But at the same time, it becomes very competitive. I assume, I presume for artists as well, wanting to get on those lineups and for people to attend those festivals and all of this sort of stuff. It's a fantastic thing. But I'm glad I'm not an artist, to be honest.
yeah. Did you ever want to be an artist?
No,
No, never.
absolutely not. Seeing, you've got to give a lot of credit to artists because they have to do an awful lot nowadays. It's not about being able to sing, like it's not just that anymore. You have to be able to create social media content. You have to be able to book gigs. You have to be able to write songs and produce them and record. You wear so many hats now as an independent artist. um and and I think even the way that social media it can be quite a daunting place, I think, and you are putting yourself out there to, rightly, well, it's wrong really, but you are kind of there, unfortunately, to be judged, if that makes sense. Like a lot of social media nowadays, and a lot of individuals, unfortunately, use it as a place to, you know, be a keyboard warrior, and say what they want to say without, because they know that they can say it behind a screen, and artists get an awful lot of the brunt of that. And I think we forget that they are like human beings just like us. And so,
Yeah.
you have to give so much credit to them, but I am so glad I'm not one, to be honest. I'll just do my thing behind the scenes and stay out the way.
Yeah. No, absolutely, absolutely. They do that. I mean, so because if obviously you're not assigned, and obviously, I think it probably would be hard for them to get assigned to a big label,
Mm,
because they're just starting out.
yeah,
But so like you said, absolutely, they do a lot of work, all the time, writing, doing it all themselves, and then obviously promotion, and with
yeah,
social media, and obviously, and I've found that tricky as well with social media,
yeah.
that you're always trying to promote stuff on social media. It's not that easy to do.
No,
You have to keep doing it 24/7, all the time,
yeah.
which but the way they are coping with it is remarkably good, actually, I think, I would say.
I
So
agree.
they did, yeah, they're doing a pretty good job in promoting themselves, and with TikTok, and they're using
Mhm.
TikTok and all that as well, some of them. So yeah, it is really, it is remarkable. Just going back to Scarlet River PR. So was it? So how long has it been running, since 2020? Scarlet River PR.
Um, yes, I think I became officially Scarlet River PR in January 2022. But I had been doing, promotion and the like since, yeah, probably since early 2020. And then doing management for a couple of years before that. Um, so
Right.
yeah, what's that? 3 years or something?
All right. And how does with a PR company like yourself, do their own assigned artists? So they get like assigned a manager, or how does it exactly work with them?
So essentially, with my company anyway, we
Yeah.
kind of offer two avenues. We offer kind of
Right.
single EP and album campaigns. So they're like one project campaign where as a PR company, we would like write a press release, promote that particular project that the artist is working on, and get media outlets to feature it, get them reviews and interviews, get them podcast appearances like with yourself, and then
Yeah.
get radio play as well. And then we also kind of now have recently introduced this kind of monthly retainer package. And so artists who are looking for more, I suppose, brand awareness, like overall brand awareness, who might be touring in the UK and want promotion for like on more of a long-term basis, we kind of have that now as well. And that runs similarly, but we kind of, I suppose, the way that we focus and the way that we approach people would be different for that sort of thing. So not necessarily being assigned a manager, but I guess they're always kind of have access to, one of the things I pride myself on with Scarlet River PR is that connection and that relationship with artists. I don't ever want to feel like, I don't want the artist to ever feel like I'm just taking a project and running with it on my own. I always want them involved in the process so that we can figure out, how's the best way to do this? What are they really wanting? How do they define success, and how can we get them there?
Yeah, and obviously you do work with so many so many clients and stuff. So do you have is it something which you have like, okay, these people I'm going to be working with them in and obviously it's agreed with you and them that this is going to be the plan, and we will work with you for a long period of time?
Sometimes, yeah. So with the kind of campaigns that are project specific, we have a time frame, and we would say, okay, we aim, this will aim to run for X period of time. So that might be, say, 8 to 10 weeks, for example. With the monthly retainer packages, we kind of go for a minimum of 3. But some of those can be long term. We've worked with a couple of artists now who I've probably worked with them for about 6 to 8 months. One artist, once we've already put together a package that will run the entire length of 2023. And so it kind of just differs depending on the artist or the band and what they're after. But we don't ever kind of lock them into anything really long term, because we know that circumstances change, and the artist or the band might find that they want to take a different route, which is fine. So there's all of those things to consider as well. But as long as, for me, it's all about making sure that the artist is happy and we're providing the right service. And so, I'm not afraid to say no if I don't think that we can do the artist justice, and we don't think the artist maybe fits, our contact database, for example. Then I will say, unfortunately, I don't feel like this is the right thing to do.
Yeah. That is a good idea, because obviously then the artist, if obviously they want to do it for just a certain period of time, they know that they're not like contracted,
Exactly.
where they can get out of the contract or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. I just don't think that's a nice thing for anybody at the end of the day. And I'm not one, I'm not here for the money. I want to be able to work with clients and artists who are passionate and motivated as we are to work with them. And I would rather say no if I can't provide the service that they're after than just work with them for the sake of working with them.
Yeah, and you have obviously we can see the website. You've been nominated for quite a few
Yes.
awards as well, including Fair Play. So I mean that must have been nice to get some kind of recognition on that, on the hard work in which you have been doing. So do you is it obviously when you started you were standalone, you were just yourself,
Yeah.
and now after about 3 years, is it do you have help from other people on board now?
Yeah, I do. Thankfully, I definitely couldn't do it on my own anymore. um, but just like, so I have a wonderful lady called Laura. She writes the majority of the press releases for artists because she's very good at it. And so often I kind of do the introductions, and then I might send her some information to say, hey, do you mind putting together this for me? So she might do, 80% of those. I've got a lady called Leslie who's based in Nashville, and if people want more hands-on approach for like social media, then that's her forte. It's definitely not mine. So she's great for that sort of thing. And then I have a couple of people on board that help me with bookings, a couple of people that help me with blog writing and things like that. So just kind of like
Yeah.
little things that taking the expertise from those people so that they can do that for me better than I could do it. And then also having more time, like I'll have more time to kind of do the hands-on approach with the clients and work with them and make sure that they're getting everything that they're after.
Yeah. Wow. And so it must be. Is it something which is obviously it's not definitely a 9 to 5 job, as you mentioned. So is it any fixed amount of hours, or is it depending on what the day brings, and then
Yeah, it really just depends on what the day brings, what clients I've got, what releases are coming up. Because sometimes a week can be really busy. If you've got a client releasing on one day and another client releasing on another day, then week might be crazy. Or you might have a quiet one because you've sent everything, you've scheduled all the the emails, you've sent everything, and you're just waiting for things to come in. So you might have a few days that are a little quieter. But funnily you should say that, because I was just I had a meeting with a new client literally just before this, which was really exciting. I haven't worked with them before, and they were like, oh, are there any days that I shouldn't email you, like because you're having a break, or you don't respond? And I was like, no. I just have to go with it. You just got to keep going, and sometimes that might mean working 10 p.m. on a Saturday night, but then if I might get the whole of Sunday off or the whole of Monday. So it swings and roundabouts, doesn't it?
yeah, it does. But you're doing something which I guess you wanted to do,
Yeah, exactly.
and obviously uh, you've made it happen. I mean, did you need any like some companies, startups, they need funding? Did you need anything like that financially?
No, I didn't
Any?
get any funding to start with.
No.
It's not something I did to begin with. I suppose one of the good things about PR is that you can just start whenever, and it's all about making connections. Now that I've kind of worked in it for a couple of years, I've been saving money to reinvest into the company on kind of bigger products and larger investments for things like that. So that I'm hoping that that's going to in itself help to expand the company a little bit more. So I'm just doing that at the moment, really.
Yeah, definitely, and lots of obviously we've seen a lot of unassigned, some very very talented artists on there. So do anybody watching this now, or obviously if you're watching afterwards, do check Scarlet. You can check it out. And if you're an artist and you want to get it, you need a PR. Visit Rachel's website, scarletriverpr.com. And obviously she's her contact details are on there. You can contact her, and she will get in touch with you. So yeah, I mean, it is a long list of clients which you are working with, and a lot of um,
Mm.
exciting people, exciting guys, girls. Lots of talent there, which which hopefully we will see breaking into the charts. Some
Yes.
have already, like I said, have already started breaking into the charts, uh, making impression there. I mean, obviously you're not an outside perspective, but what do you think regarding the country music female artists are
Mm.
concerned? Do you think they have a bit of a because we know before country music was just male dominated. Do you think
Mm.
that's changing right now? Do you think that's
I
changing the scale?
I think so. And actually, if you look at the country music scene in the UK, I think it's predominantly women. Um, to be honest, I think especially the
Yeah,
most, the talent that's coming out from artists. There's so many talented female artists and singer-songwriters as well. And so I think given the opportunity there's going to be a lot of female artists thriving for sure. I think we just got to keep supporting each other, regardless of who they are, and just keep, working to find these new avenues and new outlets for artists to be seen.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that social media, I think the plus point of social media, I guess, would be that there's so many different forms of social media where they can promote themselves if they use it the right way,
Exactly.
and they get the attention from people, the viewers, and make those videos. They can get a lot of attention down there as
Mm,
well as and the followers and stuff.
yeah.
So which will help them grow because potentially those people may end up, becoming a subscriber on the channels
Yeah.
and purchasing the singles as well,
Mm,
which is
absolutely.
which is what they need. And obviously you're doing a great job obviously with them yourself, and with promoting them, and obviously getting them the interviews and everything on there. They have lots of avenues, I guess, where I think those artists before probably didn't have. So I think that's probably a plus point for them.
I think so. Yeah, I think with the digital age, there's an awful lot of new opportunities that used correctly can really help to enhance an artist's career. And of course, I hope that that doesn't overtake, live shows, because I think live shows are awesome, selling merchandise and CDs and things like that. But I think just having it parallel is a really cool thing, and hopefully it will really help artists in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely it would. And obviously you've talked about everything on the website, which obviously we can see, um, and it tells us lots lots about Scarlet River PR and everything. So yeah, like I said, do visit the website. It is
Thank you.
yeah, it has lots of information on there, and obviously and how to contact uh, Rochelle and her services and everything, and how she books clients. So yeah, it is it is interesting. It is an interesting thing which you're doing, and obviously the way you promote artists and these unassigned artists. I think the great thing I've found them doing is even though they're very very new, they don't shy away from creating the YouTube channels and everything.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know they're very very they have loads of ideas, good ideas, I guess, in what they need to do. And I think that should help them, to be honest, because and they know exactly what will attract more viewers towards them.
Absolutely. It's all about getting a unique perspective, I think, and being able to, as an artist, if you can find something that's unique about you and use that and utilize that to create a following, I think that's going to be something that will make you stand out as well, which is great when you're trying to build an audience and build a career in music.
Definitely. And I think, yeah, absolutely. Like you said, in the UK, I think it's already changing. Country music is becoming
Yeah.
a bit of a phenomenon, to be honest, where a lot of people are interested in getting into country music. Like you said,
Mm,
a lot of women are getting into country music in the UK,
mm,
which we're hearing about now, and. I think in general in Nashville, the
yeah.
perspective of, okay, only male artists are getting more airtime. I think that's slowly the scales are slowly
Yeah.
changing. So I think soon it will take too long for that to slowly, become totally even out for them. Um,
Definitely.
on there. And it won't be as difficult as it was when there were artists like Shania Twain or, you
Yeah.
know, Dolly and them, struggling to get any airtime and stuff.
Mm.
So I think it does help with that, and there probably wasn't agencies like yourself as well, like the PR agency which were helping the artists as well. So all of this is really really helping, and obviously, and so you're obviously doing a great job there, and obviously contributing. Maybe one of these could be like a big superstar going forward. Actually,
You never know.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it would be great. It would be great to see, and
Mm.
we've courtesy of Scarlet River PR, obviously yourself, we've already had a few chats already on here with some amazing talent, and and they've already made a, they or I would say they've already made a massive impression in country music already. In the and they're all very different to one another. They're not like similar at all.
No.
No, no, they're just totally different. It's like, you know, it's like they know the other person, everyone, and then we need to create our own kind of a niche.
Yeah. It's an incredible thing. I really like it. That's why I love PR, because you get to work with so many different people and with such incredible talent, but like you said, have their own unique style, and it's a pleasure to watch.
Yeah, definitely, and obviously, I'm sure you will have lots of, like you said, exciting talent which you would be um, bringing on, Scarlet River PR, definitely, and already there's so many exciting uh, talent out there. Is there any message you would like to give them, of anyone who's looking to get into country music?
I think just, follow your heart in terms of what you're looking to create and the music that you want and the style, and one of the great things about country music is lyrically, you can write songs that are really honest and authentic and true to who you are as a person. Um and it'll be received really well by the listeners too. So just get going at it, and it's a great scene, and it's fantastic in terms of the support that you get into, from music industry professionals and artists themselves. So yeah, we'd love to have you.
Absolutely, definitely. I think I think country music is one. I've mentioned this, I think, as well to one artist, that country music it seems to be a genre where there's a lot of songs. There's a lot of like a meaning behind the songs.
Yeah.
Like there's always like a meaning.
Mm.
It's not like done like, okay. It's a song put together, but there's a lot of stuff inside the song, and as I've noticed that in country music, since I started watching country music a long time
Yeah.
ago, that there's always like a meaning behind the song, and it's one of those amazing genres of music, I would say,
Yeah.
which is great to listen to.
Absolutely.
And so, how long when did you get into country music yourself before you launched the company? How long ago?
Back in 2012, I think it was. I just heard some music on
Yeah.
through some speakers I really enjoyed, and it was Rascal Flats, and then that got me into kind of Carrie Underwood and Leanne Rhymes and Brantley Gilbert, and I was hooked from there really. And I think I've never really I've never specifically gone out and sourced country music. I just found that the music I related to and the music I loved just happened to be country. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, those days are gone, I guess, where I remember, and this is probably me um, saying so many years back, where you had to purchase music in HMV
Uh-huh.
and places like that, and you would go there and you would buy a single,
Yeah.
and and you would buy the singles and stuff, and but then obviously now digital has become more of the norm now, isn't it? So
Mhm.
it's more like they have to promote themselves online, because
Yeah.
most people will purchase the music either on Spotify or these kind of places.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I'm definitely looking forward to that kind of artists you will be bringing on board, because because obviously I know they are going to be very exciting talent on there, and obviously in association with yourself, Scarlet River PR, your company, we will be obviously bringing some of these exciting country music female talent,
Yeah.
and we will be chatting with them, and we will tell you more about that in the next few days. We will schedule some stuff in, and we will obviously mention that, and we will mention who we are bringing on very soon on here on there. So, guys, I do, like I said, this was something which I didn't know Rachel was whether she will be able to do it, because of I know her hectic schedule. So that's why there was no schedule, and you didn't see this happening like usual. But with the artists, you will see it scheduled in, and you will be able to know when it's going to happen in advance.
Yeah.
On the Richel, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's great always to chat with you.
Thank
It
you.
is it's always a pleasure, and the company is doing amazing. You've done an amazing job in running it, and the kind of clients you have shows the kind of hard work you've put in. So wishing you lots of success with that, and obviously, and we will obviously uh, keep on having those nice conversations, and I'm sure those clients will take the next step into country music.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
No worries. Thank you very much. And obviously, like I said, you can visit Scarlett, her website, scarletriverpr.com,
Thank you.
for any information.